is Rebecca Schissel-Marshall with Whole Body Upgrade, a podcast to help you get unstuck, feel better, and have more energy. Let's get started. Welcome to the Whole Body Upgrade podcast. I'm Rebecca Schissel-Marshall, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. Let's start by welcoming in the great directions and the spirit of the land. I welcome in the great direction of the east, the direction of the south and west and north. I welcome in all the loving and compassionate spirits, and I welcome in the direction that is above and below and the direction that is within. I welcome in the spirit of the land, and I welcome in the well ancestors who are here to support us. And I recognize that I am on the land of the Creek in the Cherokee, what is now known as Athens, Georgia. So welcome back. I'm so glad to be here. As I said, today, I have been thinking about patriarchy and what it has to do with health. Because for a long time I thought patriarchy was kind of over there. It's a system. It keeps people of color and marginalized and women down, and it's just, it's not good. But I never really fully, I think, put it all together the way it goes together with health until the last couple of months. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that to give you that perspective, because I know I started talking about it when I first started writing my book a little over a year ago, and it's like it's a whole new level of getting it. So it's like I got it, and now I'm getting it at a different level. So what we know is that the patriarchal system that we have now is set up and designed very specifically to have cis white men in charge, right? Like that's what it was designed to do. That was the whole system. It didn't want women in charge. I mean, maybe if they're white women, maybe, but still, all women get paid a lot less than men, even if they're white, right? And then if you happen to be an individual that is a person of color on top of being a woman, right, then you have two marginalized identities. So patriarchy keeps women in a certain place. It keeps marginalized groups in a certain place. It tells us that women should be in certain careers, right? For a long time, it was like it was okay to be a teacher or it was okay to be a nurse. Like those were kind of your options, right? Or some sort of nanny or childcare worker. Those were all okay. So there were these certain careers that were okay, and that were told that, women, they're so emotional and they're hysterical, right? Comes from from a hysterectomy from the uterus. So we've been told, well, you're too emotional. You're too emotional to run the country. You're too emotional to have a position of power. We've been taught that, well, we're nurturing. You should be in the home with the children. Women are more nurturing. You're more helpful. And then we're told that we should be able to help without asking for compensation, right? Be of service. That asking for money is something that is evil and bad, and yet the rest of the other half of the gendered groups can ask for money. And if you're charging for or asking for more, then you're selfish, right? Just like if you're angry, you are, that you are called lots of different names, right? You aren't told that you're assertive like a man is. So if for goodness sakes, you take care of yourself, then you're looked at as selfish, right? So we're put in this position as women, kind of like the baseline. This is like this baseline, very subtle place of ideas and beliefs that are communicated to women from birth, even before, right? Oh, you're going to have a girl. Oh, she'll be so sweet. She'll be so sweet. Whereas the boy, oh, I hope he's a good athlete. So these patriarchal beliefs about the other, right? The non-white males, the non-cisgendered white males have developed the systems that we live with. The industrialized food system, our healthcare system, the diet industry, which is part of the industrialized food system, right? All of these different, even though women are disproportionately in, like I work in a college of education, so they're disproportionately in education, that system too is designed to keep women in this same place, right? These systems are designed to keep women thinking that taking care of themselves is selfish. And the system is encouraging women, both literally and figuratively, to keep their legs crossed, to wear certain outfits that are appropriate, to worry about what other people think and worry about other people's feelings first ahead of your own. And for goodness sakes, buy all the products to keep you looking a certain way. This message of, as I've talked about before in the podcast, treat yourself. And I'm going to put that in quotes, right? There's this treat yourself message that is really a patriarchal message, an industrialized food complex message, and a diet industry message that is backwards and mixed up. These systems are designed to keep the women who are in, not the women, the others who are in power, to keep them in power, to keep the money going in that direction, not to change it, not to shift it, right? Because then the systems would be different. So we've been told this message as women, we've been told to take care of others. We've been told to put ourselves second, and we've been told that it's selfish. It's very selfish to take time away, right? That is probably the number one thing that I hear when I first start working with women who say, well, but that's so selfish. I couldn't do that. I couldn't take that time away, right? These systems are designed. Remember, these systems are designed, and the messages get putting out there that like, oh, after you've taken care of the entire family, if you've ever watched ads, look for this. You've taken care of the entire family, and now it's your turn. Like, why can't your turn be first? Why can't that be the first thing? So when we're told to do all this, what happens? We don't take care of ourselves first. We don't take care of our needs, like our real, not just like, oh, I want to, do all these wonderful things for myself. I'm going to go on a 7-day retreat. I'm talking about eating nutritious food comes second, right? So we're sold the bottle of a protein shake from the grocery store because women don't have time to make themselves a good, nourishing meal. So when that happens, we are much more likely, there is a research evidence that demonstrates the connection between emotions and chronic illness. Adverse childhood events, basically traumatic events, adverse childhood events. There's a little assessment, an easy assessment that you can do to see if you had any adverse childhood events. Most people I know have had at least one. Because we're taught to not say no, right? We have to say yes to everyone. We're taught that, oh, come on, just one more, right? When we're taught not to say no, and when we don't say no, we are much more likely to have chronic illness. We're much more likely to have an experience of a physical disorder and a mental health disorder, right? We're also taught not to express our anger. We shouldn't express our anger. We're good little girls. We sit in the chair. We cross our legs. We put our hands in our lap. We answer the teacher. We raise our hands. And if somebody says something to you that makes you angry, you stay calm, right? These are the messages. When we don't express our anger, there's also an increased likelihood to experience illness. Now, here's the interesting thing, right? The healthcare system, part of the patriarchal system, right? This has been influenced by the patriarchal beginnings of our country and really of the world, right? So the healthcare system is not designed to look at the emotions, right? It's not something that they're taught in medical school. And to look at how the emotions and how they might be influencing these different disease processes that women are more likely to get. So illnesses like an autoimmune disease that a majority of women in the United States face. So here we have this system that is just looking at the physical, right? Which is fine. Yes, there are physical causes of illness, and they're not taking into account how these different things that we're taught to do or not do is influencing our physical health, the trauma that we've experienced as humans, how that's affecting our health, the emotions that we're feeling, the beliefs that we're holding, the epigenetics, right, of trauma in our society, in particular cultures, right? None of that is taken into account. It is not part of the system. And that is a huge failing. In my opinion, that is a huge failing. Now, I want to be clear that if you are like, oh crap, I don't feel my anger and therefore it's my fault that I have this illness, I am not saying that. It is not your fault. It is not your fault. In fact, far from it. If we're going to put blame anywhere, I would blame the systems, right? The systems are failing. That's what I would say. Not really fault. The systems are failing to take care of women and people of color and any marginalized community, right? The LGBTQ plus community is being failed by our system as well. So all of these systems are really designed to keep women in their place, right? So the systems are failing, but they're actually not failing because they're designed to keep women down. They're designed to keep marginalized people down. So they're designed this way. They're failing for us, but they themselves are not failing, right? They're designed to keep women small. They're designed to keep people in their place, right? These careers that they're like, women are really good teachers. You should be a teacher, or that we're encouraged. That would be good. I see my mother teaching. I should be a teacher. I should be a nurse, right? They're the ones that are historically underfunded and overworked, in addition to having crappy work environments, right? Teachers and nurses are prime examples of this: poor wages and long hours. So how can we counteract the patriarchal systems that are influencing all of these other systems? How do we start to change this? That's been the big question that I've been thinking about. The biggest thing that I can see that is a radical act is to begin taking care of ourselves. And I mean that with like capital T, capital C, capital O, capital, all the capitals, all of it capitalized. And this isn't just for women. This is for men too, right? I love this idea of there's a divine feminine and there's a sacred masculine. We want the masculine. We want the divine feminine and the sacred masculine together, but we want them in balance, right? We don't want the toxic masculinity. So this isn't just for women. It's for men. It's for people of color. It's for any community right now, right? To take care of ourselves. As the NAP ministry states, if you don't follow her on Instagram or Facebook, you totally should. She's amazing. I can't remember her name, but you can search it under NAP ministry. One of the things that she says is rest is a radical act against the system. Rest is a radical act because these systems, the industrialized system, right, the patriarchal system, has gotten all of us working our tails off for someone else, right? So resting is a radical act. I completely agree with that. And I'll add that not only is rest so important, right? Rest is such a radical act because it also helps decrease inflammation in our body if we're getting enough rest. I will also add that another radical act is eating nutritious whole food, eating real food, not a barcode, not a box, right? Nothing in that particular realm if you can help it. Whole foods, real foods, nutrient, phytonutrient dense foods like vegetables, those or nuts, seeds, good vegetables, healthy fats like avocado, so good for you. And I would even say there's some grains that are okay, like rice would be a good one. Quinoa is a good one. A healthy protein is important too, like beans. Those are really important for, like lentils are one of the most perfect proteins. So eating that good food where you take care of yourself and you nourish your body, you put your body first, is a radical act against the system. Saying no to what doesn't light you up or doesn't get you to the next stage of what you want. Being able to learn how to say no at least more often than you are currently. That is a radical act against all these old ways of being. Practicing awareness of your emotions, practicing awareness of your beliefs, the thoughts that you have, the emotions that arise, and tending to them, being there with the part of you that is struggling, being in full self-compassionate awareness is a radical act to move out of the old patterns that have been placed on us by these patriarchal systems. Leaning into the divine feminine energy of intuition, of pairing and partnering with our spirit guides, of working with energy. All of those are traditions that have been told, right? If you think back to the witch hunts and how women were basically all considered witches, all of that was pushed away from us, was told that we need to shut that down. So to be in the energy with guides, with intuition, is a radical act that will get us out of this mess. When women take care of themselves, when women are able to truly show up and take care of themselves, there is a power available not only to them, not only to that individual woman, but the people that they're with, right? Which could be a family or it could be a community or both. When these women are able to take care of themselves, when we are able to take care of ourselves, we can do so much more in the world. We are vibrant. We are vital. We are powerful. And when we are powerful, our families, our communities are powerful. And when our communities are powerful and supported, we can start to transform the entire system that has kept us all small. And we can make the system one where humanity, where wellness, and where love and compassion is at the center. Okay, my friends, that's a lot to chew on for this episode. So I talked a little bit about that on my Instagram and on my Facebook. I would love to have you following me there. I invite you to join me in that discussion. And also, I send out an email every week that gives you a little deeper insights into these podcast episodes and about what I am seeing in my own life in regards to health and wellness. So I hope that you all are resting and nourishing yourselves and taking care of yourselves with such love and compassion. All right, dear ones, take good care of yourself. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Whole Body Upgrade. If you'd like to learn more about working with me, you can visit me on Facebook or Instagram or on my website, Centered You, that's centeredyou.com. See you on the next episode of Whole Body Upgrade.